What if you could tint your car window just by waving your hand? That's not a concept. The Zhijie V9 does it at launch. Here's the thing about Huawei's HIMA platform. Every car it's touched so far has been a sedan or an SUV. The 80M9, the Zhijie S7, the Lux lineup. All of them share a basic formula. 4 wheels, a frunk, a big screen, and Harmony OS holding it all together. So when I first heard that the Zhijie V9 was going to be a full-size premium MPV launching on May 15th, my immediate reaction was, wait, do they actually know what they're getting into? Because the premium MPV segment in China is brutal. The Toyota Alphard has had a stranglehold on executive buyers for over 2 decades. It's the car Chinese bosses and celebrities get photographed stepping out of. And then BYD came along with the Denza D9, priced it aggressively, stuffed it with tech, and genuinely shook the market. I'd argue the Denza D9 did more damage to Alphard's mystique in 2 years than any competitor managed in the previous 10. So Huawei isn't just launching a van. They're walking into an already disrupted fight and saying, we can disrupt it further. I think that's either very smart or very overconfident, and we won't know which until we see the price. What I do know is that the Zhijie V9 is the first time the HIMA ecosystem has had to justify luxury credentials in a segment where the back seat matters more than the driver's seat. That changes everything. Let's talk about the feature Huawei is leading with in every teaser, the intelligent privacy dimming glass. Wave your hand near the window, and the glass switches from transparent to opaque almost instantly. No button, no app, just a gesture. Now, electrochromic glass itself isn't new. Mercedes has used it in the S-Class sunroof for years, and the BMW iX has a version too. But those systems are button-controlled, and the transition is slow. You're waiting 2 or 3 seconds while the glass gradually fogs over. What Huawei is claiming here is gesture recognition combined with near-instant switching, which would be a meaningful step up. I'll be honest, I haven't sat in the car yet, so I can't verify the latency claim personally. That's something I want to test the moment I get hands-on time. But here's what I think matters more than the party trick itself, the signal it sends. Huawei is telling premium MPV buyers that their technology integration goes deeper than a touchscreen on the dashboard. Every surface in this cabin is potentially a smart surface. That's a coherent design philosophy, and it's one that neither the Alphard nor even the Denza D9 can match right now. The Alphard doesn't even have a competitive infotainment system by 2025 standards. It's running on Toyota's legacy stack. I'd argue that gap alone is why Huawei thinks there's a lane to own here. This is the chapter 1 find most interesting, because it's where I think Huawei's ambitions could either pay off spectacularly or reveal a real blind spot. Harmony OS as a car operating system has genuinely impressed me in the 80M9 and the Zhijie S7. The multi-device continuity, your phone, your watch, the car's displays, all sharing context, is something no Western brand has shipped at scale. You get in, your music follows you, your navigation state follows you, your last call is right there. It feels like a real ecosystem rather than a bolted-on infotainment unit. But here's my concern for an MPV specifically. In a sedan or SUV, the driver is the primary user of the cockpit. In a premium MPV like the V9, the people who matter most are sitting in the second row. They want entertainment, privacy, climate control, and ideally a massage seat, not a seamless transition from their Huawei phone. Now, I could be wrong about this. Huawei might have built rear seat controls and rear-facing displays that extend Harmony OS to the passengers in a way that actually makes sense. I genuinely don't know yet, and I think that's the make-or-break question for this vehicle. What I do know is that if they've solved rear seat integration, they have a story that neither the Alphard nor the Denza D9 can tell. The Denza D9 has good rear seats, but its software experience is BYD's D-Link system. Competent, not transcendent. Huawei at its best is transcendent. The question is whether they've applied that best to the rows that matter. So where does this leave us? I think the Zhijie V9 is the most technically interesting MPV to launch in China in years, and I think it could be a genuinely great vehicle. The gesture glass is a real differentiator. The Harmony OS platform has earned its credibility, and Huawei's design team has consistently delivered cabins that feel premium without feeling try-hard. But I've been wrong before. I predicted the Zhijie S7 would outsell the Neo ET5 within 6 months of launch, and that hasn't happened. The Neo brand loyalty and swap network are harder to dislodge than I assumed. So I'm being more careful here. The one number that will determine whether this car succeeds is its price. The Denza D9 starts around 330,000 yuan. The Toyota Alphard in China trades hands at 500,000 yuan or more on the gray market. If Huawei prices the V9 between those 2 points, say 380,000 to 450,000 yuan, they have a credible luxury proposition. If they go above 450,000, they'd better have rear seat features that make a business-class airline seat feel economy. And if they go below 350,000, I think they risk undermining the premium positioning they're clearly trying to build. The launch event is May 15th at 2:30 p.m. Beijing time. I'll be watching live, and I'll have a reaction video up the same day. Drop your price prediction in the comments. I want to see how close the community gets. And if you want to be there for the reaction, subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you on the 15th. The Zhijie V9 launches May 15th. Drop your price prediction in the comments. I'm going to screenshot the best guesses and check back after the reveal. Subscribe so you don't miss my same-day reaction.